Stargirl continues on with, I guess this is the penultimate episode for the second season, with Summer School Part 12. Still not going to summer school, so I guess Courtney's going to get held back. Yeah. Oh, well. She'll get over it. But it's continuing on with the elements of it all, with the Eclipso and all that. And a bit of the plot points here and there for the season are fine. It's just they didn't have the material for this many episodes. It's the same old thing. They probably should shrink it back. Would probably be better just to be an HBO Max series, so they could just say it's a streaming series and not worry about the broadcast standards of how many episodes per season you're supposed to have or what have you. Because when you don't have the material for it, boy, does it show and gets dragged down. So ultimately, what's going to be the big showdown? Well, they get to it here. Then it shouldn't be any surprise. She survived. They killed time with the dog being cute and silly, and dancing around to "I'm too sexy for my shirt," and then he the same scene you've seen a million times elsewhere. He gets into the food. He tears up the pillows. He tears up the shoes, and then gets in trouble after he snoops around the cosmic staff, and then it chases him around the house. And then Courtney and family return home, and tee-hee. So apparently the staff is all charged and healed up and ready for action, but she's got to get the team back together. And so she gets hard at work on that. Dr. Midnight's around. We do get a brief scene with him, probably too brief, and he especially there's a scene with him and Beth working together, and they end up confronting Eclipso, and Beth just has to do it. Wait, they're just talking to him, but at the same time it's like Beth has to do it all, where Dr. Midnight just stands there. I don't know, but they do demonstrate he's blind, but he also has a pair of sunglasses, and that's in keeping with the comic book that he can see. I don't recall it having computers and all that in it, but nevertheless, that's how he can see with his specialized glasses and goggles. So it's cute little nods to DC Comics and everything in there. Meanwhile, Courtney's brother, once again I'm forgetting his name, meets it's Joaquin, who became the new possessor, I guess, of the Thunderbolt, and that's true within the comics when they did the JSA series and all that. And so Courtney's brother, he finds him, they talk about it, and he wants the pin back, and then he realizes that he had made the wish for the Thunderbolt to go to better hands, and he realizes that Joaquin might be the better possessor or what have you of the Thunderbolt. So anyway, he's trying to convince him. He sent the Thunderbolt to China. Didn't necessarily mean to, but he did, because he wanted Chinese food. Tee-hee, get it? And when the Thunderbolt comes back, he's begging him to look, the world's in danger from Eclipso, and we really need Thunderbolt's power to face him. Of course, Thunderbolt could end the whole thing with a snap. So whether they get him back or not, that's kind of the big plot hole you open yourself when you have a powerful character like that. But the whole idea is to get the team back together. So Pat is working on what's his name, Tyler's uncle, to not press charges against him after he beat the crap out of him because he was under Eclipso's dominance, thinking he was beating up Solomon Grundy, but it was really his uncle. The uncle tells Pat to go to hell, but not really. He has to write it on a note because he can't speak because he's so badly broken up. And then Pat Dugan says, well, you're an a-hole, and I'm going to teach you a lesson. So he closes the blinds in the hospital room, and it's act like he's going to beat the guy or scare him into doing it. It's really creepy. It's not right. Is this something that means that Pat could succumb to Eclipso because that's his dark side, whatever he did, the uncle decides not to press charges, and so Rick is let go, and he's trying to fix the hourglass to restore his Hourman powers. As I recall it, it's the drug that gives him the powers, so it doesn't really matter if it's in an hourglass or not, but I guess for the purposes of the show, it's the hourglass that does it for him. So, okay, whatever. Jade encounters some of the dark whatever it is that was left from the battle in summer school, and she starts having nightmares, and looks like, when you eat some really bad food and you really gotta just run to the toilet because you got that knife in your gut. That's what it looks like she's going through. Dang. The nightmare. But the nightmare reveals that Calypso's plan is to take over Courtney. And the big reason being, it's understandable because Courtney, with her cosmic staff, is the bigger threat to him because he's an avatar of darkness and she's a force of light. And so there you go. And they keep showing scenes of it through the episode to the very end to reveal this, of all the other teammate members dead on the ground. And it turns out it was Courtney who killed them all. And they tried to make it like a big reveal. She turns around real quick and she's got the Eclipso face, And could have been done better, but anyway. And so, and of course, Wildcat, they bring her back, and the way she does this is to tell her, hey, you don't have to feel so bad about killing people, because the previous Wildcat did the same thing. And she says, that's ridiculous, that doesn't make it better, but then decides, all right, I'll help. And so there you go, the team will get back together, but it's all for naught, because if Eclipso has his way, Courtney will turn evil and kill them all. So, of course, all the other team members had their encounters with Eclipso, and he brought them all down and ruined them and everything. Well, except Beth. He wasn't able to take her down. But never bothered with Courtney until she's stuck in the Shadow Realm, and she got Courtney to admit that she hates him. So there's her dark side, and that sets the stage for her being taken over by Eclipso. But it's, I'm guessing, the last episode, so unless they're going to have a big cliffhanger, I'm guessing she'll overcome it, and they'll win. It could be that they are setting this up where Pat Dugan becomes possessed by Eclipso, but it's only one episode left, I think. So whatever it would be brief. I don't think they're going to end it up like Twin Peaks. And no one knows that Pat's really possessed by Eclipso, but yeah. So anyway, of course they could do everything in this episode because it's the build up for the final one, but it is a bit of a build up for it, so it's not as bad as some of the filler episodes where they kept repeating the same story over and over again. But it wasn't that great of an episode, and with only one left, I think. There's no real salvaging this season, which is unfortunate because they had a pretty good one for the first one. So by the time they get to a third season, it's probably going to be so watered down to become unwatchable, and that's too bad. Now, the Flash show experienced a similar problem by staying on too long, but it had a couple of good seasons. So this one has had one, and now all of a sudden already they're in a bad one. It's just like the ideas just run dry very quickly. I'm not sure why, really. And I dread the same thing happening to the Superman show. And the Superman show was leaps and bounds better than Stargirl, even though Stargirl was pretty good. But Superman was better. But it might be all there is, and then it's just going to fizzle. So I don't know why these things happen. I can't really call it to woke stuff because there really isn't a whole lot of wokeness in either of these shows. I mean, the casting and stuff. Not really. That's in keeping with pretty long-winded established stories and whatnot. So it's just a lack of initiative and ideas and creativity here. It just runs dry, and they got nowhere else to go. And that's too bad. If only they had some source material. Oh, wait, they do. But a lot of the superhero stories are expensive, and they've managed to do okay, more or less. That's why you got to have a bunch of soap opera filler stuff. But they were doing pretty good with that, weaving it in with the first season. They just don't have anything left to do it here, because then it ends up being repetitive. So that might be all there is, and that's unfortunate, because it seemed like the little show that could. And I thought, well, at the very least, it could be as good as The Flash once was, which means it might have, 3 or maybe even 4 good seasons, and then hopefully just end it there. But it may already be nearing its end, because it's had some good moments in this season, but it doesn't look like there's much more. But we'll see. Maybe the last episode will just blow on everything and justify it all. That's unlikely at this point. I don't think he can, because they squandered too much time on repetitive filler episodes. So that's too bad. But anyway, well, I'll watch the final one and tell you what I thought about it. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.